Welcome to the 2017-2018 NBA preview. My name is Josh, your enviers. Today we are covering the 25th ranked team in the preview, the New York Knicks. Huge inspiration to Grantland like usual. This series isn't based on who's winning the championship. This is simply based off of win-loss record. So with that being said, if we take a look at the New York Knicks win-loss record last season, they only won 31 games, lost 51. I feel like this is a solid spot for the New York Knicks. Maybe they could have been a spot or two higher, but last year I was lied to by the man Derrick Rose, the man everyone's complaining about his 78 overall rating in 2K, which is something to just be fake mad about. I don't understand, but Derrick Rose lied to me. He said to me last year, we're a super team. We're the, besides the Golden State Warriors, we're the only other super team. I bought into that hype. Not really, but I kind of bought into the hype that they would at least make the playoffs. They didn't do that. They weren't even close. Last year was rough for the New York Knicks. I mean, Derrick Rose, he was playing all right. I liked the signing of Courtney Lee. I thought on paper this team would do pretty well, and they didn't. They were one of the paper teams I liked talking about last year. There was a few paper teams last year. The Knicks were one of them. They looked really good last year, but it just didn't work out well for them. There was a lot of Carmelo Anthony drama. Towards the end of the season, it seemed like Phil Jackson was trying to kick him out. And now Phil Jackson's not even there anymore, so they lose the triangle, which can be a good thing. Maybe not having to force the players play the triangle can help this team win more than 31 games. If Carmelo Anthony stays, that is. And just to be safe, I also have them this low in case Carmelo Anthony gets traded. But even with Carmelo Anthony, I feel like they still won't be making playoffs in the Eastern Conference, because last year should have been their year to make playoffs with that roster that they had, but unfortunately it just didn't come together. And this year they look a little bit weaker than they did last year, especially with the loss of Rose. Noah's trash, but luckily they did get younger. And let's take a look at some of these young pieces they drafted or signed. I kind of like what they did in the offseason. They didn't do much, but at the same time, they didn't went out and go sign, Joakim Noah's brother for like 5 years, 50 million or something along those lines per year. So here's what they got. They got Tim Hardaway Jr., Ramon Sessions as a backup point guard, and Michael Beasley. Overall, solid. They kind of overpaid for Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't understand this signing because they already have Courtney Lee, unless they're looking to trade Carmelo Anthony and trade Courtney Lee and have a backcourt of Ntilikina and Hardaway Jr. That seems like a promising backcourt. Obviously, that backcourt isn't going to win so many games with this Knicks team, though. These signings make a lot more sense if they're looking to rebuild. They don't make as much sense if they're trying to actually win more games this season. They really only lost Derrick Rose, I guess Justin Holiday as well. Every other person they lost was a bench player, and, they probably helped contribute to their like 50+ losses last season. And we're also able to draft Ntilikina at 8 and Dotson at number 44th. The big thing that you want to look forward to with Ntilikina is they took him at 8 ahead of Dennis Smith Jr. when the more hyped up point guard and other guards like Dennis Smith Jr. and Malik Monk were still available. This seemed like a very Phil Jackson move to do, considering a few years ago they were able to draft Porzingis with that 4th pick. People booed him on his draft day, and now look at the player he's become. He's quite alright. If you're a Knicks fan, I'd hope that Ntilikina is able to turn out to somewhat of a Porzingis, where people don't really know about him. People saw better players available, and then years down the line they say, alright, I see the Zen Master. Although we didn't win anything when he was here, he drafted 2 nice players in Ntilikina and Porzingis. Which probably won't mean anything if Kyrie Irving comes to town and, the Cavs want some young talent. So now let's talk about the rotation. The projected starting 5 looks like Hernan Gomez, Porzingis, Carmelo Anthony, Courtney Lee, and Frank Ntilikina. Pretty identical starting 5 from last year, except for they lost Rose and Ntilikina took his spot, along with Hernan Gomez taking Joakim Noah's spot. He's now coming off the bench. We should probably not even talk about Joakim Noah. I know Knicks fans, it might be hard to even say his name, but we'll move on. Let's talk about Kyle O'Quinn, Lance Thomas, and Tim Hardaway Jr. along with Ramon Sessions coming off the bench. Solid bench, but it's not anything special. It will look drastically different
if Carmelo Anthony gets traded, if Kristaps Porzingis gets traded, and if they're able to get a talent like Kyrie Irving. As of now, though, this is what they're working with.
Yeah, that rotation outside of Melo and Kristaps Porzingis, who knows who's going to step up? I know Joakim Noah definitely isn't the player he used to be. Willie Hernangomez, he might be becoming something with this New York Knicks teams that are in this weird spot between rebuilding and trying to get rid of Carmelo Anthony. So the main question here with this New York Knicks team is, do they get rid of Carmelo Anthony this season, before the season even starts, or at the end to the Rockets or any other team that Carmelo Anthony wants to go to? Or do they think they just hold on to him and try to keep him, but then at the end of the day he just walks? Or I don't know what happens with Carmelo Anthony.
There's part of me that wants to see Carmelo Anthony in a Houston jersey. There's part of me that wants to see him in a Blazers jersey, in a Cavs jersey. You know, Carmelo Anthony is one of those players where he's a scoring threat, but him being the guy, it hasn't really worked out with his teams winning. Let me know in the comment section below what team you would want to see Carmelo Anthony on. It's kind of going to be hard to see him on any other team besides the Knicks, but I feel like in the coming years it's just going to be inevitable, especially if he's trying to win a ring. If he's all about the money, obviously he could stay with New York and never win a ring. But who knows? Until then, this team probably doesn't win more than 31 games. And will probably be a relatively same team like they were last year.
So with that said, I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you could leave a like on this video, it would be greatly appreciated. These videos do take a long time to make.
Before you go, check out some of these other videos on screen covering NBA preview episodes prior to this one. The playlist is in the description in case you want to binge watch this series. It's pretty awesome. Along with my Twitter link @Enviers. Follow me on Twitter if you want to chat about the NBA preview or anything else. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.